Today I'm reviewing The Sims 4 movie Hangout stuff. This is part of a series where I review every single pack for The Sims 4, including all of the older ones. New video uploaded every single Monday, and there is a playlist link in the bio. So movie Hangout stuff comes with a brand new projector screen. Well, it comes with two, one that's on a stand and one that can be placed on a wall. The pack comes with 10 different films in different genres that you can watch. It also comes with a popcorn machine. Starting off from the cast, there is actually mostly a male and female balance, which is very rare but a good thing. I actually think there's a lot of nice options for men as well as women. The pack also comes with some nice hairstyles that you might find yourself using. I personally find I use them a lot of the time. The cast is certainly not in my style, but I definitely think it fits the theme perfectly, which is a boho style. Everything is really bold and colourful and crazy, but they also have quite a lot of neutral swatches too of the cast if you'd rather that as well. I sometimes use the cast from this pack for my average looking Sims, so it can work even though you may not like that style. It just depends on whether or not you're interested in the meshes. They are quite floaty, if you know what I mean. In terms of kids, the cast comes with a top and jeans for both male and female kids, but nothing for toddlers. There isn't really anything else in the game that represents a boho theme in The Sims 4, and I've always thought The Sims 4 should have at least one of everything, so I think it's a really nice addition to the game. And even though stuff packs don't really come with that much stuff, I do think this pack comes with a substantial amount of cast, seeming that it's just a stuff pack. In general, I will say it's very well rounded. And with that being said, we are starting off strong with a 9 out of 10 for the cast. Looking at the build by, just like the cast, everything is extremely clashy, colourful, bold, and boho. The theme is very, very overwhelming, but I'd say it's overwhelming in the right ways. There are a ton of lovely swatch options for all of the items, lots of strong pinks and purples and greenish colours, everything that just screams at you in the face. I'd say it contains enough objects in order to make a boho style living room. My favourite objects are the rugs and the wall tapestry and the curtains. They come in a lot of really nice swatches. I always appreciate it when the Sims team make a lot of effort into all of the different swatches, so it was a really nice addition to see. But even cooler, most of the items do come in a plain wooden swatch. It's quite a pale plain wooden swatch. Some of them also come in a plainish dark wood swatch, but it's mostly just a pale wood swatch. So if you do like making plain builds, I'm sure you can use some of the stuff in this pack, but that's not really what it's meant for. It is made for Sims who are a little bit more quirky. One of the main focal items of this pack is a tree with the hanging lights. It comes in some really nice swatches actually. I really like this one. I always use it if I'm renovating Willow Creek Park and I want to make it look a little bit more cozy. The outdoor movie projector though isn't really that pretty, and they could have made it look a little bit more cozy, but it is literally the biggest TV that we have in the game if you would like that, and it does look like a projector when you have it on too. Even though the marketing for this pack was all about sitting in your garden and watching a cozy movie, the furniture doesn't actually really suit being outdoors, so it doesn't really fit that cozy outdoorsy vibe that you may be looking for if you want to watch a movie. But you can always use the build by inside the house and just watch a movie on a normal TV if that's what you prefer. If you just want the projector, you can get the little campus kit for much cheaper. This pack better suits watching a movie outdoors and being cozy, although the kit doesn't come with the movies themselves, so that's something to consider. Although I'd say in general though guys, the style of this pack is very crazy and out there, and that's why I love it. I always give bonus points to packs that stick to a consistent theme. It sticks to a very lovely theme with the designs and swatches. It only just falls short slightly with the outdoor aesthetic despite it being indoor items. As I said, the little campus kit has a movie projector and it contains tons of cozy outdoor stuff. And if you want a very similar, if not better aesthetic without actually having to pay for movies, then you can do it with the kit. But with that being said, the build by is a very strong, consistent theme, and I absolutely love the theme, so it is getting an 8 out of 10 for the build by. Moving on to the gameplay, so this pack comes with a popcorn machine. You can make buttered popcorn, cheddar popcorn, kettle corn, or caramel corn, each requiring different cooking skill levels. As a British person, I have absolutely no idea what any of these mean because we just have sweet popcorn, salty popcorn, and sweet and salty popcorn, but go off I guess. If watching a horror movie, Sims will actually shake their bowl when they jump and popcorn flies out, although I could not get this to work when my Sims were watching a horror movie. The Cool Kitchen stuff pack has a similar ice cream machine in which you can just make ice creams with it. There are a ton of different flavors, and a lot of them actually affects your moods, giving you a different emotion buff, or they can even change your life state. So it would have been nice to be granted some random buffs from the popcorn machine or have a few new, more interesting flavors, but I guess it's not a huge deal. One thing I will stress to you though is that if you have a popcorn maker in your house, Sims will autonomously make popcorn all of the time if they are hungry, and it can get very tedious and annoying after a while. Of course, watching movies is a key point of this pack. There's a total of 10 movies to watch under the genres romance, horror, comedy, action, or family, 2 of each. Whilst watching a movie, your Sims have a slightly different animation to watching normal TV. The animations may vary slightly depending on what genre they watch. It's a small but nice detail. After watching a movie, they will receive a moodlet, and depending on whether they liked it or not will depend on the moodlet. The pack also comes with a few new social interactions relating to the movies. One interaction is declaring your favorite genre. However, seeing we have the likes and dislikes mechanic in the game, this makes absolutely no sense. The ability to like a movie should just come as a normal like and dislike that you can set in CAS. Also, the interactions that we have anyway, such as discuss the actors or complain about the movie, don't really have an impact on the gameplay. And if I'm being honest, other than that, there isn't really that much substance to the movie feature. I would have loved to have had a special interaction for having a movie date and having that cliche thing happen when your Sim tries to put their arm around the other Sim, or if one Sim cuddles up to the other whilst watching a horror movie in fear. They could have also played on the whole Netflix and chill thing, but I guess The Sims 4 is way too safe and boring for that. I also would have loved the ability to create a cinema community lot type. I believe this is something that we had in The Sims 3. I know making a cinema is a popular thing that a lot of Simmers want, so it is a shame that they didn't play on this with this pack, especially seeing that you can make bowling alleys, for example, with the bowling stuff pack. It would have been a nice addition to have something similar too with this pack. I also think the pack could have just been given more depth, for example, if it came with a movie critic addition to the author career, being able to write articles online and being paid for the articles about the movies that they've watched. To give credit, the pack does come with a movie club with the Get Together pack. However, I do actually think watching movies should have been a holiday tradition if you own seasons, and Christmas movies should exist, and you cannot tell me otherwise. I just feel like in general this pack just didn't really go far enough to give it that much substance. We can already watch TV in the game, you can already get mootlets from watch TV in the game, you can get skill points from watching certain TV shows in the game. This pack didn't really add anything new other than say these are movies, not normal TV programs. The popcorn machine is a very small minor feature, and when you compare this to a lot of other stuff packs, it just didn't come with enough to substantiate it being the price it's at. Even with the movies, even with the popcorn machine, it just doesn't really add anything to the gameplay. The gameplay of this pack is incredibly shallow and lifeless. So unfortunately, I'm going to be giving this pack a 1 out of 10 for gameplay. We have to look at performance because The Sims 4 is a very buggy game. This pack is no special exception. Sims clipped through each other when watching a movie and did not autonomously sit down, which was great. Sims also got up in the middle of the movie to put their popcorn down, which I found completely broke the immersion of the pack. Why couldn't they have just sat there with an empty popcorn bowl and put it back after the movie had finished? It didn't really make much sense to me, and it seemed like a very silly oversight, and it gives very clear indication to me that they didn't really test this pack very well. I also found that the Sims would not autonomously sit down to watch a movie, and I had to make them sit down myself, which was incredibly annoying, because if I didn't do that, they would have just stood in the way of everybody else and watched the movie standing up. Again, just completely breaking the immersion of the pack. This pack did not work very well at all. Bugs and glitches are something that should happen very rarely, not every single time you plan to use a feature. To have it happen every single time is disgraceful, and I am going to be giving this pack a 0 out of 10 for performance, which I know is very, very harsh, but this pack deserves it. If you can't play a game without it bugging out once, then it's useless. The next part of the review is where I give my personal opinion about the pack plus an overall conclusion. In total, this pack is getting a 4.5 out of 10. If the CAS and the build buy for this pack were even worse, then it would have got a much lower score than 4.5, but I just want to stress to you, 4.5 to me feels way too high for this pack. The only reason why it is propped up is because of the build buy and CAS. If we exclude the build buy and CAS, this pack probably would have got a 0 or 1 out of 10. The pack is very aesthetic, and that's why I like it. It has a very crazy and cool theme. The gameplay of this stuff pack is just too minute, and it deserves a lot more justice than what we got. If they added some other features like I mentioned before, then it would have been a much more compelling gameplay experience. For what it's worth, I do think it slightly adds a tiny bit of depth to your Sims' lives, but not really. They can already watch TV. They can already do all the same things that this stuff pack came with. It definitely just didn't go far enough, and I think the bugs and glitches that happen with this pack were just unacceptable. I know a lot of Simmers are interested in this pack, so you may think that this review is quite harsh, but at the end of the day, The Sims 4 is a game and it needs to work well as a game, and I'm not going to let EA get away with trying to upsell a stuff pack for as much money as it is if it just doesn't come with that much gameplay, and the gameplay that it does come with is just extremely shallow and broken. I hope this review was useful. I have a whole playlist of my brutally honest reviews here, and I update the playlist every Monday. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.